"What lesson this time?" inquired Evan, wondering just how many lessons they were expected to learn in one day. Chapter 21. Woody stopped as something in the water caught his eye. Once back at the crossroads, Fate took control of the situation by walking down the one remaining road and heading towards the futures. So once more they set off along the highways of life. Evan's thoughts were still keeping company with the memory of his dear mother when Fate let off an attention-seeking cough. Ahem! Evan stopped and turned around to see Woody and Fate standing by a gap in the roadside wall. Fate's hand was outstretched towards a green cast-iron sign that was fastened to a black metal post. Embossed on the sign in brass letters were the words, "The right track." "Well done, chaps," Evan quipped. "I was just testing you. Nice to see you were both paying attention." He then walked through the gap in the wall, giving the youngster a clandestine wink on the way through. All three were walking down the right track and heading towards the futures, with Evan wondering what it had in store for them, moreover, just which lesson-teaching entities or characters they were going to encounter on this next stage of their journey. It was not long before the track led them into a small wood, as opposed to another road, which was where Evan would have expected a journey along the highways of life to be taking them. And then, without thinking, he asked, "Are you sure this is the right way?" He immediately realized how arrogant his question must have sounded. "Yes," Fate assured him. "It's just through those trees, over a fence in the wall, and then we'll be back on the road. Of course, we could always turn back." "No," said Evan, shaking his head. "It's fine. This way seems fine. Sorry." "No, let's turn back," insisted Fate. "We can go through the gap in the wall and get back onto the road. We could then walk down the road until it changes to a lane, and down the lane until it changes to a path." "No, it's okay. We can go this way," Evan offered, wishing he had said nothing in the first place. Fate ignored him and continued talking. "Then we can walk down the path until we come to the river, and walk back down the river to the stepping stones, across the stones to the other side, and then—" Evan interrupted. "I'm sorry, this way is fine." Fate continued. "Now, hands up all those who want to go back towards the river, or as I like to call it, Evan's way." Nobody raised a hand. "Nobody? Oh, good. Now then," Fate inquired with further sarcasm, "who wants to go through the trees and over the fence?" Two hands waved in the air, and Fate then told them both, "Let that be a lesson to the both of you." "What lesson this time?" inquired Evan, wondering just how many lessons they were expected to learn in one day. Occasionally, just every now and again, Fate has a sense of humour too. Then he winked at the boy. Woody smiled and thought how much fun Fate was and how happy he felt to have two new friends, whereas Evan felt relieved that for once nobody was being taught another life lesson. As they walked through the woods towards the fence, Woody started daydreaming about how he was capable of climbing any of the trees. When he tilted his head to one side, he could hear the trees talking, having a conversation about him that went something like this. On first seeing the boy, one of the trees became rather excited and reached across to its friend, giving one of its branches a shake. "Look," said the first tree to the other one. "Is that who I think it is?" "Where?" asked his friend. "Down there. That boy," said the first tree, pointing down towards Woody. Well, that depends on who you think it is." "I think that is Woody," said the first tree excitedly. "Why, yes, I think you're right," confirmed its friend, and the boy's name echoed around the tree tops. "Woody! It's Woody!" "Climb me, Woody, please, climb me." Then one of the younger trees, which did not understand what all the fuss was about, asked who Woody was. Forgivingly, as she knew that the tree was just a youngster, for he was only 71, the older tree informed me that he is the only person to have ever climbed Old Ligneus who lives down where the river runs fast. The tree which was nearest to Woody pointed out that the boy did not look like a tree climber of outstanding ability. He looks too weak, looks as though he could do with a good meal. I'm hungry, Woody informed the others. Me too, said Evan. I know a very nice place where we can get a warm welcome and a splendid meal, Fate told them as he came to a halt at the wooden fence. It's just 5 minutes up the road. Come on, let's go, said Woody, clambering swiftly over the fence. The fence was not particularly sturdy, and with the memory of Evan's previous fall still fresh in his mind, he was not too keen on the idea of following his young self over the fence. Luckily, Fate, who thought of himself as a little too dignified for such antics, simply opened the gate and walked through, followed by Evan. After walking for a short while, they came across another sign that read, The Land of Opportunities. I thought we were going to the Futures, remarked Woody, on reading the sign. He then realised that he may have contradicted Fate's guidance. Just ask again, he assured his mentor. The Futures Municipal Headquarters is in the Land of Opportunities, where you'll meet some splendid associates of mine. Of course, we could always turn back and pick berries to quash our hunger, Fate said, while cocking his eyebrow. Young Woody did not know what to say, not knowing whether Fate was serious or just kidding again. So he remained silent. Luckily, the silence was broken by something rushing past them near the ground. What the... Evan quashed his natural response, which would have been to swear. What the heck was that? He asked, pointing after the sparkling ball of light flashing towards the Land of Opportunities. Then whoosh! Another one appeared, and then it too dashed away. There's another one. What was it, that shiny thing? The youngster asked, his magpie eyes staring after the glistening sphere. He thought it looked like a Christmas comet as it rushed past, leaving a silver trail of glitter behind it as it vanished into the distance. It's the reason we have taken this detour, Fate started to explain. Woody's face, though, was filled with disappointment, as he felt that the detour was chosen for gastronomical fulfillment. Fate saw the disenchantment on the youngster's face, so he suggested that their main priority should be to replenish their food reserves. Woody smiled. They started walking along the road, which soon narrowed into a lane. After a further 10 minutes or so, the lane escorted them to the edge of a village, and it was not long before they encountered a row of cottages. A nameplate made of oak was fastened to the wall of the first cottage. The words Brook Cottage were carved into the wood. The second to last cottage also bore an oak nameplate. Its chiselled words read Bridge Cottage. The final cottage's nameplate read Hobson's Choice. They walked past a row of cottages and over a stone bridge, beneath which a small stream trickled. Woody wondered if the stream merged with the river, and whether the water which he was watching would end up at the stepping stones. The water splashed and jumped as it collided with stones and pebbles which lay in its path. Woody stopped as something in the water caught his eye. Bright, red, and quivery, the reflection of the early evening sun danced upon the surface of the water. The boy looked up towards the sky and smiled back at the sun, which had been smiling warmth and sunshine down on them the whole day. He sighed, as his attention was drawn away from the early evening sun by an appetizing aroma. His hunger compelled him to move in the direction of the smell, and he drifted towards its source. The smell of wholesome food was emanating from a nearby doorway, which Fate and Evan were stood outside. Above the doorway was a large oak sign bearing the name of the establishment. Carved into the deep oak were the words Milk and Honey Hotel. Distracted by the desire to satisfy his hunger, Woody bumped into Fate. "Oops, sorry," he apologized. "That's okay," said Fate, understanding the boy's desire to eat, as it had been a while since fruit pastels had been consumed. "Move in here so you can see." Fate stepped aside to let the youngster read the menu board in the doorway. All sorts of scrumptious delights were described on the list of homemade lovelies, so they moved inside, hoping for a vacant table and speedy service.